Welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in Mendham and such. Um, it's just all the same old, because we're all robots. It's sort of my theme for today. Uh, just the whole mechanical, you just do what the programming dictates, and it's really hard to, as much as we can imagine, doing this free will thing. Like I will be something different. Yeah, you have to just, you have to go through this whole process of forcing yourself to be different, which is not really being free. You got to force it to happen. But there's no free anyway, right? So free is still, it's just not a useful word. You can only describe it based on something that's not free. Compare it to something unfree. And so it really doesn't have any meaning. It's not useful as a generic word. It's generically no such thing as. But anyway, I'll get to that. So the image over there is from a video from we used to be Obsidian Teen. Used to be kind of a religious kook. I don't know if he still is, of some kind or other, but is doing this cigarette tax thing. And so I post a link below. And yeah, he's a little bit too romantic about cigarettes. And I'm more, yeah, it's just as bad as any other addiction. And the real point is that that's just the point. It's just as bad as all the other addictions. And so if you're going to persecute cigarette smokers, you should be persecuting all the fatties and the drunk drivers and all the rest of those people. And I mean persecute them in the sense of make their vice unaffordable. And that's what they've done to cigarettes. So yeah, sugar taxes, fat taxes, and certainly huge alcohol taxes would be appropriate if government wasn't a hypocrite. And that's my whole point isn't that we, the citizens, can't find something abhorrent and say people shouldn't do that. It's just you can't be a fucking hypocrite about it. And it's the hypocrisy that's just insufferable. Clearly, it's just exploitation of a politically weak minority, and their political weakness is created by the horrible, rotten, stinking, lousy unrepresentative democracy we live in, and I've been through the point that it's, this whole idea of geographic voting districts guarantees people who aren't segregated to have no political power. And that worked in the old days, right? Because everybody was segregated. The Quakers were in their Quaker town. The other nutty religions were all in their little towns. So geographic voting made some sense, but it doesn't make any sense when we're living among each other. Then it just means you're just going to disenfranchise minority opinions because they're spread into a bunch of majority opinion, and they're just eliminated as a reality. Well, anyway, I've made the argument it's been totally ineffective because people are too small-brained to figure out that we have to fix that or we don't have a democracy, and without a democracy, not much hope. Not that there's much hope anyway, but I just mean there's not even much hope of the graceful exit or doing anything rational. So it does make me think of another subject. There's some guy in the physics subject, Bill Gates, and he did some interview about the end of the world. And he thinks it's coming, this generation kind of a thing. And he doesn't think it's because of the environment or this, it's the economy. And I certainly agree that the economy is going to fail. I mean, we're going to have the 29 thing just because it's all fake. There's FDIC insurance doesn't really exist. There's, $20 billion in the fund, the insurance fund, and it's insuring 7 or 8 or 9 trillion dollars worth of accounts. So you can sort of do the math that if things go bad and people are, looking to get their money out of the bank and they need it to survive, they ain't going to be there. The insurance will run out like that, and the government will have to print the money, or it'll have to say, I can't pay you now. And if it prints the money, you get the huge inflation, and that's what's going to happen. They'll have to actually start printing money. Everybody thinks they've been doing that, but they really haven't. They've just been borrowing money in all kinds of silly ways. So they haven't actually put money into circulation. And once they do that, we're fucked. So, but yeah, that's there's all the protections they put in place to prevent the 29 crash. They've basically broken them all. And FDIC insurance is the most glaring example of that's supposed to prevent the run on the bank, and you've just ruined it. So there's no hope that it'll prevent the problem, which is not having money to cover people's living expenses. But anyway, the idea of the whole doom though scenario, it doesn't really have to go doomy if the government just takes control of a couple of things like food and water. So if it makes sure the wheat crop gets planted, and makes sure the corn crop gets planted, and it makes sure the water's available, the rest, people can get by. So it's, it doesn't have to be catastrophic. Plenty of violence, plenty of bad stuff will happen. I just mean it's not an extinction event. And it's kind of a non-event if government just rationally says, well, this whole catastrophe is only based on the fact that we have to pay all these rich people $1 zillion that own all the debt. And they're only 1% of the population. And so if the government just rationally says, well, do we kill the 99, or do we, to save the one, or we to kill the one, and then we don't have to really kill them, we just have to make them regular humans again to save the 99. And yeah, I think logically people might be able to figure out that inconveniencing the rich would be a lot better than killing, 60% of the rest of the people. So, but anyway, there's no point talking to you people because you're all too stupid. So, sorry, no offense, but you really just don't get anything. You don't understand shit. Sorry, but it's just true. You're all way too fucking stupid to just see how this whole game is, how it works, how the whole universe. I see it in the physics shit. The physicists are full of shit. And the economists are full of shit. The political shitheads are full of shit. Everybody's just full of shit. Stupid shit. It's not even good regular shit. It's really stupid shit. It's like retarded shit. It's all crookedy and wrong color. And, it's just, but anyway, I'm a little impatient, tired, depressed. Sick of it all. Even my hair's weak. It's just not a good week. Clean the house a little, and that's always going to ruin you. Something like that anyway. So, I guess I should try to change the image or something. I should do something interesting. Sorry, I wish I had something more interesting. I've just been all busy, so. There, flowers. There, I haven't updated my picture site. I got to do that. So maybe I'll flip through some of these as I'm talking. Maybe. Let's see what that one looks like. Ooh, pretty. Let's see what happens when I do this. Ooh, not so pretty. Kind of blurry there. Didn't hit the focused part. Alright, now flower shit. Let's see if I hit it over here. It should move over there. Oh, look. Big, little, big, little. Mostly. Alright, get to something, Gary. Alright, so the robot thing. Yeah, it's like everything. It's like all these flowers, they're genetically controlled and they're just going to be what they're going to be. They're they don't have much. They have some variety. Obviously, you can see they get mutated by mixing them about. But there's not too much, they don't do too many interesting things. So this is a good picture. See how good this one is. Yeah, I don't even know if that's probably, yeah, it's good enough. I'll leave that for a little while. Anyway, so yeah, so it's like then that these birds all look the same. They all behave the same. They all do the same shit: catch fish, catch fish, 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 fish. So the same routine. It's a robot. It's a a machine. And little tiny bits of variation are just based on little bits of personal experience that fuck with you. And so with humans, it's the same thing, except it's a little more elaborate in terms of our personal experiences happen over a longer period of time. We live longer than most of the other animals. And yeah, there's more nuance to the process of being controlled by what country you grow up in, what language you speak, all kinds of these little incidental things, what color car your parents bought, all kinds of silly little things are going to fuck with your personality. Embarrassing moments, traumas, and it's all going to dictate what your taste is in life, what gets you off, what's fun, what's entertaining, what's charming, what's pretty, how deep your passions are, all kinds of stuff like that. So there's subtle differences, but they're all kind of subtle. And the basic machine is the same. It's you're hungry for some stuff. The obvious things: air and water and food, and even the sex thing. And then we have the bigger hunger of the accomplishment, or feeling satisfied with your function, avoiding some sort of despondency over failures and weak hair, the stuff falling apart, and and overcoming the liabilities of having different little disabilities, different little bits of dysfunction. We're all dysfunctional in some way or another. You see that with the Hollywood types, who throw it all away, for over a bottle of gin or some cocaine or whatever. And you're just like, what the fuck, because that wouldn't be a problem for you, but it's obviously their problem. Your weaknesses aren't their weaknesses. We all have different weaknesses and strengths. But we're just this machine. We're just programmed. I mean, none of what you are is something you do. It's all done to you. Your genetics and your environment, and neither one of those things you made. They made you. You're just byproduct. And in some sense, you're ironic byproduct, in the case of people like me, because I am exactly an opposite thermometer, so to speak. I'm exactly the opposite of what the environment was intending to create. I'm the black swan, so to speak. But I'm still, that's the process that made me. That's a symptom of any Borg, is that there's going to be things that don't Borg, that are defective. Even though I would argue that it's a positive defect. Like most of the evolution is made out of positive defects. You don't copy correctly, and it happens to be that the miscopying is a benefit, not a deficit. So I'd say it's, I'm not saying I'm saying I don't really care about the whole eugenics subject or what's a better version of something. I guess that shouldn't matter, because it just really, ideas should be understandable because they're principled and based on facts. They tend to, that's the idea anyway, is that they should be. So that sort of gets back to the cigarette argument, where the argument is just a logical argument about fairness and the fact that law shouldn't be hypocritical on its basic the that's all it's about. And and understanding being human is just understanding the facts, which is this crude evolution process, the obscene attrition, just the grotesque amount of torture and death that the system uses, to do this copying incorrectly thing. Because most of the copies come out right, and they're essentially failures, because that's not going to create your stronger, better. That's not going to be able to challenge the environment as it changes. So it's only the defects that can save the day, the mutants. So that's kind of funny. It kind of gets to that X-Men crap, because it's kind of like you need the mutants to advance. They're just another form of robot. So you could argue that the pessimist or the people not playing along, they're not really rebels. They're just defects. But they're defects that, in a sense, are positive, because they're not going to keep making the same mistake over and over again as the other Borgies are. They're not going to keep throwing meat in the grinder with their apathy or their unwillingness to even bother to think about it, because they're just too busy figuring out, what do I want for Christmas? It's just chasing. So we're just robots that want, so you just make a robot that wants, and that's a human. Really recognizing that truth as a fact. They're sitting right in front of you. Okay, we're evolved animals, which the animals are all kind of creepy. Even the pretty ones, what they do is, tigers or something, they do creepy shit. They kill other animals and lick their ass. I mean, they're really beautiful, but it's creepy being a tiger. And aesthetics really isn't much to be saying anything that something's great because of its aesthetics. And then if you just go by raw function, something like a crocodile, it weighs, what a great machine, because it can survive months without food, and it's just hard to kill, and can eat anything, and so you got to admire its durability, its the perfection of its survival armor. It's just made for surviving anything, except getting eaten by its grandfather. I mean, it's the attrition for the little crocodiles is, again, obscene. Thousands and thousands of crocodiles just to get to one. So they kill thousands of baby crocodiles for one mature reproducing crocodile. And that's all through nature. And there's just nothing to say, oh yeah, that is good. No, that's bad. It's really easy to say that's not a good idea. Because, physical destruction and death is not fun. It just isn't. Only in the movies. It's just very few deaths are fun. Okay, I mean, yes, jumping out of planes without a parachute, it might be sort of fun, because you're never going to know what hit you when you finally hit the ground. It's not going to matter. It'd be instant foobar, and lots of things are instant. So once you know that, then you just say, okay, it's a millisecond. Fuck, I can suffer for that long. So I won't even know it until it's over. I won't even know it's happening until it's finished. But we know that most of it doesn't happen that way. We know it's always going to be for these robots, because we're robots that feel and have these stupid emotional blocks and these weaknesses, these vulnerabilities, these fears. That just even stepping off the cliff is just difficult. It's difficult to, okay, this is my last act. Because you're sort of made to be survivors, like the crocodile. You're sort of built to be like an actor, and the show must go on, and you're just like, no, the show has to go on. I can't leave the show. I mean, the show must go on. And so we're so conflicted. You can just despise your existence and just have such a hard time settling yourself on, you just want some kind of exit that has a procedure to it that's little gradual steps, because you can make little steps towards death. But leaping into death seems much more difficult. Even though it's the easy way, it's the hard way, because it's such a leap. It's really, exiting the stage. It's, it's selling your car or whatever. It's just such a, ooh, I'm in trouble. Just sold my car, I'm in trouble. It's this poverty story. But when when you're poor and you're selling stuff and you have to sell the car, that's when I went through that. And, oh man, I'm done. I'm cooked. You almost know it's no coming back. Anyway, whole another story. So it's everything I'm saying and everything I do, it's just built out of these gears that I never put in here. They're just gears that got put into me, that run me, and they are just made out of events in my life. And people can hate me and they despise what I say or do this or that. I'm like, well, what do you go back to 1959 or 1962 and 1967, and you could just go through all those events and say, well, why don't you blame that event or that event or that event? What are you picking on me for? It wasn't my fault. Obviously we don't do that because people just annoy us, and we just say, that's what you are. And I don't care how you got to be who you are. And that's realistic. I can see that we're in a world where these ideas are competing, and there's all kinds of stakes held in the balance. Good guys, bad guys will win based on how these arguments play out, how compelling they are made, and what nerves we can poke with little pens. Poke. Hit you somewhere in 1972 or 1998, hit you in one of your weak things, get to you in some way, but that's the robots, little buttons. We have buttons. And the idea is to try to throw these words at each other and try to hit the buttons that are there, that are your, the shape of your keyboard. And everybody's keyboard's got different letters in different places, and that's the real problem. We can't just have a conversation where I say something, that makes sense to me, because you don't even understand words the same fucking way. You have these notions, about what words even mean. Even the word notion, that should be one, though. How can you mess that one up? I mean, it's just a vague idea, right? A notion. It's just like I don't know where that came from exactly, but I sense it. Yes, I sense it is correct. Notion. This is not really a fantasy. But anyway, so you can go through each word and you could pick them to pieces, and everybody's got a little subtle different definition. And you say something like fairness, even, and there's this whole obnoxious group of people who find that an offensive word because they don't think the concept is applicable. They just don't think it's a relevant conversation, even though it's something we strive for everywhere. Is a fair deal, an honest deal, a fair sport, always seeking that. And yet they find the word offensive. And you're like, how is that possible? Because they think everything's supposed to be unfair, because nature's unfair. and we're supposed to be as dumb as nature, as limited as nature. See, that's it. We're robots, but we're better than our creator. The robotic Rube Goldberg pile of crap that made us, we're better than that, because we do have this vocabulary and we do understand these concepts. And we do have words like fair, okay, right, wrong, good, bad. We know these things exist. Better, worse. We certainly know, fast and slow. We know the difference. Forward, backward, right, wrong. We can get those. That's oh yeah, that's just how that is. They're opposites. Yeah, I get it. Good, bad. Oh yeah, they're opposites. I get that. But there's people who just play games with those words and just pretend they're not meaningful. They don't have any relevance somehow, because apparently there's no God to enforce any rules, and therefore there can't be rules, or there shouldn't be. Like somehow we can't make them. We can't think a little bit and figure out that torture's bad, and that if you're going to endorse it or say it's okay, then you have to have a good reason, like a really good reason, like a really, really, really good reason. And the really good reason can't be, I want a son to carry on my name so I feel important and I feel like I'm living again or something. I don't know what they're thinking. I want this ego gratification. I want to do this symbolic thing that means something to me because of my programming, right? That's, again, I have to concede. These breeders, they have some sort of programming in their life where, instead of doing what I did, which was realize that my childhood was no charmer, lots of risk, could have gone badly at all kinds of moments where, really bad instead of just bad. And that, obviously I was a bit disturbed to live in a world that's just so messy and broken, to be thrust into it and be told, here, navigate this slop. That it would be stupid for me to do that to somebody else. But they think it's themselves, I guess. So they think they already, they think they've already gone through the learning process, and that they'll have the advantages of being like them, already educated. And no, that's not what's going to happen. The new thing is going to have to be re-educated in the world that exists now, which is even more tacky, Facebooky, than the world I grew up in anyway. As bad as it was, it didn't have Facebook in it. Oh, thank God. It didn't have commercials on cable TV. Shit. Paid TV with commercials. Fuck. Anyway. So I could go on and on, I suppose, but that was the theme word for this week, was just the robotic. Just everything I do, I can see it's the mechanism of my history, and the few little things that somehow are important to me, and the things I fear, and how those little creepy things just kind of oblige me to try to manage my life in some sort of maintaining some sort of thing called integrity and honesty and whatever. But yeah, the motivations are, none of them are very good. They're all kind of crass and ego driven, and I've sort of lamented that before, is that the only way anything good gets done in the world is you have to make it personal, and usually it's made personal in some sort of tacky way. It's, people don't want to do the right thing because doing the right thing is a good. They want to do the right thing so they'll look like heroes, or they'll, be admired or respected or appreciated. Everybody will want to be their friend or some kind of crap like that. Certainly not one of my motivations, but I suppose there is an underlying motivation just from my own ability to just say, "See, I told you so," or something like that. Something like that. But anyway, so robot saying to other robots, "Oh, get a clue. We're just not doing anything spectacular here. We're just running these stupid formulaic scripts over and over again." It's, people have made the point. I mean, everything is, it's just remolded Shakespeare plays and remolded dramas, the same hooks, the same bait, reel them in, it's all just so Freudian in terms of the mechanism of our how we can be played. What we're playing. We're playing this, like I said, this mostly just this kind of an ego game. Where's my status? What's my status? What's my status? What's my status? Am I winning? Am I winning? Am I winning? Just this, that's the only songs playing in our heads, really. Something like that. So anyway, that's enough. So I'll try to, like I said before, I'll try. I am continuing to try, let me just put it that way. I'm continuing to know that I need to do better. So I do have that thought in my head that says, the robot is being told, bad robot, bad, insufficient function. So that's been blinking in my head for, quite some time now. And so you don't have to tell me I'm insufficiently functioning, because it is blinking inside, and I am trying to do something about it. Work out a program that'll turn that off, and if I successfully turn it off, it'll probably mean because I actually did something creative and interesting. So I will work on it, as I want to get rid of that noise in my head that says insufficient function. So I'm, but that's, again, I've been promising it for years. So I mean, it sounds empty to say it, but I'm just letting you know. No, I'm, I know, I gotta do better. I know it. I just haven't got the programs to do better yet. I'm trying to download them from the world, and, but unfortunately, those are all the stuff out in the world that I'm collecting just wants me to do put the bullet in the gun, bang bang, or bang anyway. You probably don't hear the second bang, but anyway, so I am, it's just hard to, old dog, new tricks, that's part of it. Tired dog, any trick, that's part of it too. I'm making excuses now, okay, so fuck me for making excuses. Yeah. So that light went off too. See, I have all these. I have all of them. They're all there. Yeah. So I'm working on it. See, I just don't know if that means anything. I'm working on it. For me to say I'm working on it, because it does seem I'm working on it, but I just don't have any traction yet. It's like the wheels just aren't hitting the ground yet. I'm trying to figure out how to get them to make something happen. It just isn't quite happening. But it looks like it's going to. It's like sometimes fixing, I'm trying to fix the pilot light on my oven. And it's, looks like it should work. Everything I do looks like it's going to work, and it just hasn't quite worked. So sometimes it's like that when you're fixing something. you know, looks like it's happening, but 3 hours later you're still saying it looks like it's going to happen. Yeah. So anyway, so I did a half an hour on I am trying, when I'm really saying I don't know if I really am, but I don't know. You know, I won't know it until I do it. If once I'm successful, then I can say, oh yeah, I tried really hard and I did it. You know, but I don't know. Did I? Or did I just wait for something to hit me like a brick in the face or something? And I said, oh, okay, now I get it. I'm supposed to move my head. Oh, okay. I got it now. Oakley doke. So anyway. Yeah, that's enough now. So till next time and such. So forth and whatnot. Yeah. That's all. Mm.